What is up, you guys, and welcome back to the Project Manga Podcast. I'm Noxie.
What up, I'm Kiko.
And we are very excited to finally be kicking off our new Patreon exclusive, special grade exclusive shonen manga review show. First and foremost, of course, we just want to give a huge shout out to all of you who can even see this podcast right now. As the ultimate patrons, you are all undoubtedly showing the most support for this brand, and we are eternally grateful for that.
Definitely.
Which is why we felt like an additional shonen manga review show would be the best possible single perk that we could offer, since, you know, this is obviously our biggest bag. You know what I mean? Like, it's where the whole thing started at. It's what we feel like we're the best at. We can really talk about anything, I feel like, but reviewing current chapters in shonen manga, I feel like is our level. It's where we're supposed to be. So, as you can see, it is just me and Kiko here tonight, but that is not going to be a regular thing for this show. Nickums and Eagle are just both tied up tonight, but it's fine, because the dynamic duo is here to get it done. And yes, absolutely. So we're super excited, right? All right. And the manga that we're going to be covering in this shonen manga review show is currently Kaiju number 8, Undead Unluck, Jigokuraku, and Dr. Stone is going to be coming soon, a little bit later on down the road, while we take time to catch up on that. While some of us take time to catch up on that. But we're also going to be, next week, adding Honmieru Shonen, which is the brand new shonen manga that's coming out in Weekly Shonen Jump issue number 38, I believe. So we're super excited to cover a series from the very beginning here on this Patreon exclusive show. Can't wait to see what that's about. But let's get in to the review. Absolutely. Okay, so we're going to start with Kaiju number 8. Then we're going to go into Undead Unluck, and then we're going to finish off with Jigokuraku tonight, and then we'll have a full roster of all 4 next week. But Kaiju number 8, we should probably have a conversation about like how we feel about this series as a whole so far before we like actually start talking about the review of the newest chapters. So
yeah,
how are you? What's good, bro?
I think this is like the shit that's really about to pop off.
Yeah,
like this. Yeah. It's like, so the art is perfect, right? Like this is like some of the best art in manga right here is Kaiju number 8. Like this shit is so clean. Yeah. Every line, there's not one panel I'm questioning what's happening. Right. Like it's just, it looks so good. And the story is just as good so far. Yeah. It's just I mean, 8 chapters, sure, you know, like we can't say a lot yet, but like, man, that it's, so far, it's been a perfect story. I am super intrigued. I am just sucked right into this fucking story, and yeah, I'm hyped for it.
I'm super happy to find out it is the future, and I feel like this is here to stay. I mean, obviously, it's in Jump Plus, I believe, so there's not. I feel like it's safer, you know, from the chopping block as like, you know, weekly Shonen Jump official like stories. You know what I mean? Like, but I was talking about it on the timeline, dude. It's like with the axe rate in Shonen Jump right now, I wouldn't even be trying to get my manga in this magazine anymore. Like, like y'all could see me like at Kodansha with my shit, because it's like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know how Kodansha, you know, handles their shit either, but I know they're not axing shit like Weekly Shonen Jump, and I understand that they're trying to, you know, like find that next big hit, so they're just like throwing a bunch of shit at the wall and seeing like what sticks. I don't know if that's because they have like a new like drill sergeant type executive that just like has an itchy axe finger or trigger finger on on canceling stories or whatever they're fucking trying to do. But I feel like they're tweaking, and I feel like they're going about it the wrong way. But Kaiju number 8 is not something that I feel like we have to worry about, and I'm super excited to find out that it's a female artist. I'm pretty sure it's just one mangaka for the story.
Yep.
Yeah, and I love that female representation inside of Jump, because it's like I really was like, wow, this art is stunting on the vast majority of Jump right now. Yeah, and I love how I love how the main character is like not a small child. He's literally like a middle-aged man, which is really cool.
Resonates to us. We're a little older. I mean, middle age. You know, we might not be. I mean, what did he say? I think he's like 30.
He's like 35, I think.
Yeah. So like, that's right. That's close. That's right around where we're at. So like, that really does kind of resonate and hit for that for sure, because it's, man,
It gives a good message to like not give up even if you're not youthful. You know what I mean? Like
definitely.
So like that's like really reassuring for a lot of older readers that read Weekly Shonen Jump and probably like see all of these stories of these like youthful Power Rangers or whatever you want to fucking call them, and they're like, man, if back in my day I could have, and they feel like they might be a little bit too past their prime, but like they see this representation inside of Kaiju 8, and that's probably like really heartwarming to them, or to people like us rather, because we're old too. I shouldn't front like we're not a part of that, but
definitely. And it's the first thing I've ever read out of Shonen Jump. Somebody's not like, is anybody older than 20? Like Luffy's what, 20? Like now, like
I think he's just 19.
I think he's 19. Yeah, he's 19.
Yeah.
Like so, the main characters, don't get over 20, and even that, like even Luffy feels old for a main character.
Yeah, that's right.
Jump, don't he? Right. Like it's really nice to see this, and I mean, I also think it's in Jump Plus because it's guaranteed with what we got, this 8.1. Which had a bunch of pretty art on it on the 8.1, which is great.
Love
which is just like a recap. And it was tight, but it mentioned that every 3 weeks, so there's going to be 3 weeks of chapters every fourth week. So 3 weeks of chapters every fourth week. There will be a break, so that kind of makes sense maybe. And because why wouldn't a story this strong with this perfect of art not be in regular Shonen Jump? Like I like that seems like the only reason to me, because this is literally a 10 out of 10 art wise. Like, and so far, obviously it's hard to jump the gun on the story, but right from the jump, like, how good art is immediately. You don't need to sit here and wait. You don't need to sit here and wait.
Like you do with the story, because you know what exactly. I mean? Like, that's a really good point. Wow. And, and I feel like it might be more evidence that like this is going to last for a long time, because they're giving schedule freedom to the mangaka like that in some kind of way, like, hey, do what you need to do and then take a break, come back. It's like I feel like that's way more leeway than anybody really gets, you know what I mean, unless you're like Oda or Togashi. Holy shit,
for sure.
But I mean, inside of just the premise alone on Kaiju number 8, I love the setting and premise for this. This is like, Kaiju has always been something that has been interesting to me. Like, I've seen a lot of Godzilla movies, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's always been a really cool like topic, but like seeing it on the ground level like this is fun. Like, these are things they're introducing things I never even thought about, despite the Godzilla movies that I've seen. It's like, who cleans this shit up? You know what I mean? Like, that was really cool to fucking see in the very beginning. I really like the combat suits that they have, and how like their efficiency and their power is based on like your willpower basically, or your soul, or like how, I can't remember exactly what verbiage they use to like describe it, but like if you're tight, your suit is tight, like your suit scales in tightness with you as a person, which is really fucking cool.
I don't think there is clear exposition on exactly how it works. We know Shinomiya can use it at 47%, and nobody else can even be like over like 15,
unless you're in like the higher guard, like the girl that the main character grew up with, and like all the top tiers. Like the special forces, I'm sure that they got right now are probably in that range. I'm sure some are even higher, but some of the sick shit you can do with the suit when you're that, like the kaiju muscle fibers tightened up to like close the bullet wounds. Like, I was like, wow, like this shit is sick as fuck. Super fucking sick, man. And the prodigy, the prodigy chick, what's her name? It's gonna take us
Shinomiya. Kikoru. Yep.
Shinomiya. Kikoru Shinomiya. It's gonna take us a while to like get these names down pat, but
I wrote some of them down so I remember. But like, I mean, I just Ichikawa really, and you got to know them, because
Ichikawa, that's his homeboy, or that's the main character?
Yes, that's his homeboy. Kafka's the main
character, and I love that his name is Kafka, because that's easy to remember amidst like a sea of like Japanese first and last names. You know what I'm saying? And that's really fucking cool. And I feel like Kafka like might have something to do with like this lore in some kind of way too, like just like kaiju lore. And I don't hold me to that, but like I feel like I've heard that name before. It does feel right.
But so I really like their relationship. Like Ichikawa and Kafka's relationship is very reminiscent to Saitama and Genos. They even almost kind of look that way. I mean, not really Kafka, but Ichikawa does look like Genos a little bit, without obviously a robotic body.
And Kafka looks like Saitama back when he had hair, kind of.
Back when he had hair.
Yo, that's crazy.
Yeah, so like I see like a lot of parallels to like you know, kind of classic shonen manga here already in 8 chapters that feel like homage to me. Like you see I mean, maybe I'll wait for us to get into the chapter to get a little bit, because in this chapter I seen a couple that I felt like were you know, callbacks to other popular shonen manga.
Right.
So and I don't know, like it just really feels fresh.
Yes.
And it feels like something that we haven't gotten. I've never really read. I mean,
I love the science fiction aspect of it, and like giant monsters as the enemy is really cool, because these are just regular people with like technology, which is a different spin on like anything that I've really seen in Shonen Jump.
Yeah, and the technology they have enhances their physical, you know, stats and whatnot. But it's not going to be anything super crazy, because like, when Kikoru sees Kafka like put the van back up, you know, a couple chapters ago, she's like, "What the fuck? You know, I can't even do that with my suit power right now. Like, what is this guy on? You know?
Do that.
So yeah, like it's tight to have. I won't call it a firm ceiling, but at least a ceiling at this point, you know, on these characters, because you know, it does feel like a kind of like a Starship Troopers or whatever, you know, here with the gun, you know, shooting aliens or shooting kaiju, whatever, you know. And so, the sci-fi aspect is really good to combine that with, you know, now we have Kaiju Man, who's fucking, you know, going to be a shonen protagonist here.
Right, and that's such a sick fucking concept for a main character. And man, a couple chapters ago, I think it was 2 chapters ago, when he like goes into his full kaiju form to protect Kikoru and fucking goes to go punch the thing, but it's like so big, and his like, it's cool seeing like what new abilities besides super strength and durability the kaiju form gives him, because those little spires came out of like his shin and his calves and like stuck into the ground to give him more like to push off traction, with and shit. Traction. I was like, this is cold, bro.
Yeah, it's so tight.
I was like,
tight. Well, and that's kind of what I was talking about. I was gonna kind of maybe wait, but since you mentioned that part, he also has the jet propulsion punch, which I thought of Kazuma's altar from S Cry Edge, and I also thought of Jugo from Naruto. You know, he got the
Jugo.
Boom, giant ass fucking, you know, jet punches.
Jet punch.
So it's that's pretty sick, you know, like for him to be able to, you know, metamorph here into what he needs. There's going to be a lot of freedom with that. There's going to be a lot of things the author's going to be able to do with that. That's never going to be really too ass pully, unless it's like, you know, I don't, you know, who knows? Like, as long as it's not like magical, as long as it always like kind of makes sense with like
inside of the confines of like the physical or like the physics that they are already establishing in the series. You know what I mean? So there can be. We already see like electricity around him and stuff, so there could be like an energy system with maybe like with energy kaiju shielding and with the kaiju. Well, especially since we saw in the last chapter the Vasto Lorde looking fucking evil fucking, and is the one
he
that
a
has
hybrid?
Speech? Oh
the only one that has speech. Is it a hybrid? Probably. I don't think so. I feel like it might be. I think it might be kind of like
just like a higher form of kaiju that's like sentient, that's not in the records.
And it feels like Arenkar.
Oh,
right? And
Arenkar,
it feels like feels bleachish. Like I said, Vasto Lorde looking kind of, you know, that's so. It really feels like it's, you know, paying these homages, but being very fresh at the same time. Like I really like. I just really like the story a lot.
Ooh, so here's the thing. I'm
very excited to cover.
Me too. But here's the thing. So you just made me think, right? So like. You said, is this like, you know, sentient or like more intelligent kaiju a hybrid? But like now, obviously Kafka wants to keep the fact that he's a kaiju a secret, because obviously they're going to hunt him if they find out. But like I've always been thinking, like, if they knew his situation on how he became one, would they still want to hunt him? And I always thought that like his relationship with Kikoru here, obviously he's going to have to confide in her to some degree, because she's going to keep her secret, which is really cool, because when her character was introduced, obviously as like this snotty, prodigious talent that like clearly is arrogant and whatnot, it's cool that we got the depth, you know, to her character and like the pathos kind of that we got in her flashback in these last couple chapters, because like, yes, it was satisfying when she kind of got put in her place when like Kafka like showed out, and when she got like humbled by the fucking like crazy, you know, kaiju attack. But like finding out that it's all like honor and like prestige based, like for her, you know what I mean? Like she's not just arrogant for the sake of being arrogant. Like she has something to prove that's been hammered into her since childhood, you know what I mean? Like, and she values protecting the people around her above all else. So it's not really like arrogance as far as like I'm the best, it's all about me. Like sure it is, like maybe as a front, but like underneath all that, it's like I really want to protect these people at all costs. And that's really fucking cool to see in her character. But the point that I'm kind of like trying to get here before I kind of like trailed off there is that like how much later on down the road is it going to be before people are just okay with Kafka having this ability, and not just okay with him having this ability, but also want that for themselves? Like, are people going to like ingest kaiju cells like on purpose to like get this form, and are other people just going to be half-breed kaijus versus this like more intelligent race of kaiju that are obviously going to be showing up more and more throughout the series? That would be fucking sick, bro.
And who's to say there hasn't been people that have already done this? And we have an Akatsuki in the background.
Oh my god!
You know, like of kaiju hybrids that are out here to do some dirt. You know, like that'll be pretty sick to see. Maybe that they're like it'd be really cool if there were like genetically engineered, or you know, whatever, scientifically engineered, whatever you want to say, to not be perfect hybrids like Kafka, and so you know they want what he has, and I don't know, maybe try to cannibalize him. That'd be sick,
shit!
Dude.
Oh, dude, now you're making me think again. So like, what if like people there's a class of people inside the government that knows that you can hybridize humans with kaiju, and have done biological experiments on unwilling people, and that's what this fucking sentient Arrancar hybrid, you know, dude is, and he wants revenge on, you know, humanity or that organization, and there is a group of fucking Akatsuki in the background of these sentient kaiju, bro. This could go so crazy in so many ways, and to see that in 8 chapters is like,
it's so, the world's so open, and it's just your mind can go crazy with the possibilities right now. And I mean, 8 chapters, we're in this for the long haul, right? Like I expect, with what we have right now, like I expect this to be a fairly long, like I would want to say this should go over 100 chapters. Like
for sure.
Just with what we got right now.
At least 100.
And so, hey, that's this might be a mainstay. I assume it'll be a mainstay here on our Patreon show for a good long time. And I just don't see how this story could get axed. I just don't see it.
Me neither.
It's too good. It's too good.
Yeah, dude, absolutely. I'm trying to remember, like trying to like go into like the actual like most recent chapter. I feel like we kind of touched on the cover was cold-blooded, bro. Like
this author snaps. Matsumoto snaps, bro.
Matsumoto, that's the name. Okay. Okay. I just love Kafka's kaiju design, bro. Like that is one of the sickest designs that I've literally ever seen, bro.
Yeah.
Like I'm so happy that that's the main character of this story, and that's not just like a one-off kaiju or like a main villain kaiju that's eventually going to be beat and then we never see it again. Like this is our guy forever. We get to look at this dude all the time. Like
hell yeah. It's such a and he's going to presumably transform subtly. I don't know, who knows, you know, like have different forms, whatever, maybe get bigger horns and spikier, some crazy
defensive
shit,
form, a speed form, like
shield fucking defensive, like just bone shield head fucking form, you know,
because we see that in like kaiju, like kind of like lore in Japan throughout the year. Like look at Ultraman, you know what I'm saying? Like Ultraman has his like, and granted he's like a superhero, but I mean like so is this guy kind of, but like obviously they're taking from that giant monster lore in Japan, so like we very well could see like a speed form, a defense form, a combination form, you know what I mean, like similar to an Ultraman inside of that, and the designs I'm sure are always going to slap inside of Kafka whenever that happens. So
I mean there's no reason to think not at this point. Like everything has been so clean, like these power suits look so fucking tight, like I mean I just everything, like all the character designs have been pretty fucking cool. Like even so, like you got the bullhead dude who's running, I did write his name too, Hoshina's running.
And
that's
which one is
the
Hoshina?
He's the bowl haircut dude who's running with, I want to say Ashido is her name.
Oh, so like these are all of like the top 5 like prodigious talents inside of the academy that they like specifically like honed in and highlighted on like before this exercise?
So Ashido is is Kafka's girl he's been chasing, whatever, who's like top commander or whatever. She's like number 1, and Hoshina's number 2. That's who's showing up on the scene right now.
At the very end.
At the very end, yeah.
Oh, okay.
And so I just think that this dude is like obviously intentionally like annoying looking and sounding, and he's going to be suspicious of the team. I feel like Ichikawa and Kikaru gotta take credit for this. And that's gonna keep
his scores down.
Yeah, well, I think he can still get in, obviously. I mean, maybe, but again, this is a parallel. I see to One Punch Man. I feel like this is.
Dude,
it does feel that way, where it's like right now, because obviously he's going to have to do whatever he can to keep trying to fly under the radar for a lot of chapters, right? 30 chapters. I say 30 chapters minimum before he his, like the whatever special forces are going to be aware of him, and who knows, maybe they're cool with him, maybe they're not. I mean, obviously if they're cool with it, they're gonna have to go through some kind of whatever. He's gonna have to prove himself and save the fucking whole town from a giant fucking kaiju or something. Like, he's a hero, okay, he can join us, cool. But like it's gonna have to be something like that, because I could really foresee, like his cover being blown and him being on the run and having to fight against these forces. But
I feel like it's going to be split, right? There's going to be people that are like, this dude obviously just saved us. He's clearly a human that just can turn into a kaiju. Like, what's the problem with that? As long as he's like on our side and he's clearly, this isn't what we think it is. And then there's going to be people that are like Damnatio, like from Black Clover, like, no, I don't care. He's a kaiju. Get him out of here. You know what I mean? So that dynamic will be really cool to explore. Hopefully, if we see that too. Yeah. Wow.
So, I mean, just kind of looking at the chapter, we do the just all the art. I mean, we've talked about now how the little prongs or whatever come out and grip the ground, and then you get the fucking jet propulsion, fucking super punch. But what happens to see the fucking flesh and fucking muscle just deteriorate or disintegrate around the bone structure? Like that shit is so tight.
Where you get the same page 3 times with just different damage happening.
Happening. Yes,
love that,
man. And this is just top tier art. I could look at this shit all
day, and it's weekly, bro. Well,
this is
that's
why they need that's why they need their week off. That's fine. Give her week off. She earned it, right?
Yes, absolutely.
What else was hilarious about this is when he first fucking shows up on the scene, and then you get to see him in kaiju form on the ground, like begging and pleading, "Don't tell on me, please don't fucking tell on me." Like, there's still comedic aspects to this that are going to be great throughout the thing. There's always going to be probably now this she's gonna Kikuru's gonna be talking shit to fucking Kafka, and there's gonna be this fucking snarky whatever little shit talking they do, even if obviously she's going to respect him now after this and run with him, but there's still gonna be and it'd be really cool to see a rivalry between a 35-year-old man and a fucking 14-year-old girl. Like that's a weird dynamic that I don't think I've ever seen in anything. And that would be and weird in a good way, like weird as in like it's just not common, because I've never seen it, and it would just be really cool to have her progress. I mean, her progression isn't going to match Kafka's. Like that doesn't really make sense when he's super, kaiju man.
Yeah.
But her progression being like next after his would be really good, throughout the story, and Ichikawa's got to be there too. I'm sure he's going to get, better at honing his suit and all that shit. But like seeing her be like, continue to rise in ranks to where they can have, even if it's just a snarky, like whatever kind of rivalry, like that's a really cool dynamic and something that's unique. That would be very unique.
Love that.
So.
Yeah. Love it, man. All around.
And I don't know how old she is. I said 14, 15.
I think she's like 16.
Yeah.
I want to say she's like 16, but like I don't know what it is. She could be 19, could be 18, like whatever. Like But I feel like
she's still in school. I felt like she was still in school. Like I don't know. Maybe I just kind of that's maybe headcanon-y from like the flashback that was in the last chapter, or maybe 2 chapters before or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's
hell yeah, man. No complaints on Kaiju 8. Literally no complaints. I want to start kind of like trying, not trying to find like faults, but I feel like we are so hype about like everything that we talk about besides Black Clover. But like, you know, and obviously you know, we have things that we talk about in like inside of like My Hero Academia too. But I feel like everything is so like positive that I think to myself like, am I just like fanboying so hard that I'm not able to notice flaws, and I like try to go in to like see if I can find them but not look for them. I don't want to look for something to complain about, but like maybe you know what I mean. But I'm like literally nothing.
One Piece, man.
One Piece even
sometimes
too.
You know, like it's something that we should do and we should try to find. You know, and it's great that. Because then you can really gauge. It's like, how hard did I fucking try to search to find something wrong with this fucking story? And that tells me how good it is. That tells me and it's like if it took me a long time to find anything wrong with the story, that means it's a great story, right? Like it's really fucking good. And I approach things that way similarly. Like it's like you definitely can't just have empty, well, I won't say empty praise, but just like eternal praise forever without trying to be critical. You know, like you definitely gotta look for stuff. You know, I
haven't seen shit either. But at the same time, it's like to kind of like finish that thought. It's like if there are things, you know, that are, you know, technically flaws or negative like sides to the writing or the art or whatever, and we're not addressing those things, then like I feel like people will notice that, and they'll be like, okay, these guys like just really like this story, and I just don't want like that. I want to feel like all the bases are covered. You know what I'm saying? But nothing so far on Kaiju 8, man. Like I swear to God, this is firing on all cylinders, bro.
Definitely.
Fuck yeah. Okay, I think we're good on Kaiju 8 right now for this week, though.
Yeah, definitely. Oh wait, no, we didn't. No, I gotta say one more big thing.
What is it?
We missed.
What did we miss?
Probably the biggest thing is Fortitude 9.8. Dai Kaiju.
Yes, Dai Kaiju. Oh my god.
So, they can't see. It's in a fucking like smoke cloud. Okay, let me see.
What page?
Let me see here.
Well,
well, no, he's just
up, it's page 9, page 8 and 9.
Yeah, the double page spread here.
He looks so cool, dude.
Yeah, he's so tight, man. This is such good fucking art. And then, so let's see here. You got the you know, scientist girl or whatever. You know, I'm detecting an abnormally high energy emission near the Hanju's location. Is it a kaiju? You know, like they're like, this shit is so strong that we don't even know if this is a kaiju. And they're
it's
like, could this be something else? Yeah, could this be fucking something else? And you get to see on the scientist girl's computer that the other one is Fortitude 6.4, what he's going against.
And look at the difference in the fucking spikes on this.
The spikes, yes.
It's like a mountain to a pebble.
Yeah, and it almost seems like 6.4 is like standard, and like to break 7 or 8 is like the way it spikes and how much higher the spike is. It feels like it's like a progressive scale. Where it's going up, it's spiking higher because at that point it's just that reading is unheard of.
Yes.
So that was huge. Definitely.
But if that reading is unheard of, then that means. Because, like, wouldn't they have been able... Well, maybe it's because he's exerting force and energy, and that's why they're seeing that spike. Because that other kaiju, the sentient one, the Arankar one, like, wouldn't they have noticed that energy signature? But he probably wasn't putting anything out. But...
Zetsu.
Oh,
Kaiju Zetsu.
Come on, bro. Stop. Oh my god,
sick,
dude!
Bro.
But
but that energy system.
But that lets me like if these are energy readings that are so off the charts that it's surprising the high tiers, then that means obviously for there to be stakes that we're going to have to see energy signatures that go above what Kafka has later on in the series.
Yeah, we're gonna see a 20-pointer here in 30 chapters. I think.
Yeah. So like it's cool because like we could probably attribute that to that sentient kaiju is going to just keep spawning. If he's not already above that level himself, maybe it'll keep growing in power itself, but also spawning, you know, new like stronger kaiju as time goes on. So like that'll be really fucking cool.
And if there is an Audenkar Akatsuki out there somewhere, like they probably are all 20s or whatever, and he's gonna have to step it up, or maybe he is higher than 9.8 that we haven't seen. But the best thing about these numbers is they're low.
They're low as fuck.
This ain't no Dragon Ball nonsense. Like we could start at, we got decimal 9.8, a decimal. We're not at whole numbers yet.
Yeah, we don't have commas. We have decimals.
Yes. So there's so much room to grow. Obviously, if this is a 9.8, I don't expect to see 10,000 or anything. You expect to see like maybe 100 and that's going to be a fucking big Armageddon fucking kaiju,
and that's just what heavily science fiction stories are going to give you. Like things are going to be grounded and rooted in logic and science to some degree. I mean, I'm sure there's going to be some pseudoscience in here. Obviously, it's science fiction, so like not everything is like real, but at least it's you don't have to suspend belief for too much. You know what I mean? Like it's all relativistic.
Does this make sense? Does this make sense to regular science like not regular science like
scientists?
I don't know what the word. Not scientists. No, regular people that just believe in science, right? People that don't like fucking, evolution isn't real type people. Or flat Earth type people. But like, if you just somewhat, believe scientists like you're supposed to, like, and it makes sense to you, that's good enough, right? Like we're not physicists, we're not gonna be doing any math, we're not gonna fucking death battle this and have our fucking physicists in the background and then act like we're super smart and knew these answers the whole time. Hey guys, get it done, I knew it the whole time. It's like, no, that guy, come on, get out of here.
Boomstick. Even like Wiz too, like he sounds the part, he like looks the part. Obviously in the new animations he's got like a lab coat and a fucking like scalpel and shit and like the heartbeat like thing around his neck.
That math dude, calm down, bro.
they paint the picture pretty well though.
Sure,
but
it's
man,
fun. That's as long as the pseudoscience is good enough and makes good enough sense. I need, like, that's what I want. I just want something that makes good enough sense.
Yes,
and I want things that connect. I want fucking clean, just lines that I can draw within the energy system or whatever it is. Or whatever's happening that just is sensible. And so far, we got that. It seems like that's what we're going to continue to get. And,
yes.
I mean,
super excited for the future of Kaiju, bro.
As long as this doesn't get axed, man, which we're going to be excited.
I feel like
for
we
this.
can be so confident that it's not going to get axed just because it's not in the main publication line. And
I hate that we have to say that word so much because of the current events of Shonen Jump. Like it's just like we have to be weary of it. Like with everything we look at, and
it's so stressful.
Even it's stressful, and even when you look at something like this, where it's feel like this shit is perfect, and 8 chapters is a perfect 8 chapters right now.
Yeah.
So like, I don't see how it could get fucking axed. Like I just don't see. I mean, obviously, what? Like think about. Like what just got axed like 17 or 8? Like there was like Guardian of the Witch.
There's
got
Bone Collection.
Like 14.
Okay, Guardian of
Bone
the Witch
Collection is like 17 or 18.
Bone Collection was 15. Like Time Paradox Ghost Rider was 14.
Yeah.
Like what are you doing?
Guardian of the Witch is out of here. There's a bunch of them that seem like, but as long as, Samurai 8 was 40, 50. I don't know. Remember
fucking Last Sayuki was 20. The 20th chapter I think was the last one. That's fucked up.
Yeah.
That's it's like so fucked up.
I don't know. It's like
just move it to Jump Square where you don't care about like the numbers as much, obviously, or like Jump Plus.
Let these people live, man. Let them like get their story off a little more before canceling it at 14.
Right,
like that's wild. That's crazy. That's
barely even 2 volumes.
I know that's like, kind of fucked up. But
how do you cut somebody before their second volume? Like what do you even know about their story yet? Like, especially if they expected it to be like a long running one, like 350 chapters, and you act like the story hasn't even fucking started yet. Yeah. Fuck you. What the hell?
Hey, it's a demanding world over there at Shonen Jump. They're not playing.
Ruthless, bro. Vicious, bro.
Ruthless out there, yeah, for sure. Yeah, we can move on.
All right. Let's get into Undead Unluck, which is a series that, much like Chainsaw Man, I was not ready to be this good. At all.
Yeah, 1,000%. I was very after I read the first chapter. I said, "No, fuck this."
Yeah, I didn't even get.
We're not reading titty grabbing manga. We're not doing it. Like I can't have this. Like and it is still a complaint that I have, even though Fuko and Andy's relationship is a lot more wholesome and way better now. And it
as weird as it is, you can't help but root for it now that they're as developed as they are.
Yeah, you know, I mean, it's still going to be weird to me that he's, you know, basically immortal and she's 18. Like even 18 is still, you know, man.
Definitely not weird. You know what I mean? Like it's definitely still weird, but I just wasn't expecting to be so on board with the progression of their relationship.
There's
you know
what I mean? And so I still don't. It still seems like half the fucking characters' clothes get blown off using abilities and shit too. Like we know we. I hope we can move a little bit more away from.
We have Clothy now.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. So Andy's for the most part good. Fuko only needs to use it to trigger her unluck. Tatiana's gonna go back in her fucking metal fucking shit, and hopefully we'll never see that ever again. And I was like, no, good, right?
Bro, fuck.
Please, what is this, Negima, man? Get me out, man. As much as I love Negima, the first fucking 100 chapters felt like this to me too, and I was like, man, how are people telling me to read this? I don't get it. And then I got through it, and I got past it. Yeah, and it's like, okay, all right.
Fuck yeah. I think the coolest thing about Undead Unluck to me is, like, obviously Andy is very reminiscent to me, at least, of Wolverine. Like, he's literally Wolverine. You know what I mean? But just like, obviously way stronger, and he's got like a dualism inside of him, but like, which is like a really cool dynamic to his character, that duality with Victor. But like, it's literally like his dialogue, his demeanor, his regenerative abilities. I'm like, this is a fucking Wolverine manga. Oh my god, I'm so fucking here for this. You know what I mean? All he's missing is the cigar. You know what I mean? Like, it's so fucking sick. The way he uses his regeneration is very fresh, very new. I was like, how diverse is, you know, undead, like, you know, immortality going to be. And we have so many examples of like the Japanese people just knowing what to do with this superpower. Banned from Seven Deadly Sins, the entirety of UQ Holder and Negima, fucking, and now inside of Undead Unluck, they just fucking get it, man. And it's so inventive, it's so cool. And all of his abilities make so much sense, and it's so cold-blooded, bro.
The coldest thing ever is the blood-splurting EI, bro.
Yes,
like,
bro,
with the
what the fuck?
Out of the arm, like,
because he's triggering his regeneration, which shoots the sword out at a faster rate than he could grab it and swing it. Which is so fucking sick, dude.
The application of basically every character's abilities thus far in the show slaps. And that's the thing. Like, these abilities are so good. The story is very intriguing. Fucking the goddamn book, man. The artifact book that's fucking what's it? It's not Armageddon.
Apocalypse.
Apocalypse. Yeah.
Dude, like, this world setting premise, everything is rules. So new.
Oh man, this is crazy.
The reason why all of the fucking like rules in the world come from this fucking book, and obviously from the creator of everything. Like, that is so like like, it's not like it's just that either. It's the energy system, it's how amazing the characters are, it's the fact that like it all comes, you know, like this is so new in so many levels. And it's like, this dude had to be geeked when he found out he was going in Shonen Jump. He's like, these motherfuckers ain't ready for this. I'm gonna throw a little bullshit chapter out here to like weed out, you know what I'm saying? Like, lead people into a false sense of security. They ain't gonna axe my shit because my shit is too tight. You know what I'm saying? So like, let's see how hard I could trick people into thinking that this is gonna be a gropey, ecchi story the whole time. But no, this is very profound and high tier storytelling that we have here. And it is probably my favorite new gen story in Weekly Shonen Jump right now. Like,
it's definitely, I you know, it's just really hard to make a pick, but I think,
how could it not be Undead Unluck though?
Like under 30 chapters, it probably is. For sure. Like, you're right. I mean, Kaiju, but like
Kaiju is trying its hardest. It's a little bit too early.
Well, but see, the thing about the difference is that Kaiju is perfect right out the gate, where it's like I was reserved a little bit on this when I first saw it, and I don't know, maybe, you know, you're doing a little bit of misdirection with the story to kind of, you know, throw readers off base. I don't really know why you want to do that.
There's misdirection everywhere. There's misdirection everywhere. So not just the beginning of the story, but like also the Union was obviously very clearly like supposed to look like a villain group, and now they're just like, it's like Tokyo Revengers. You know what I mean? Like with fucking Toman, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
Toman,
you like I love when stories do that, and everyone in Union is so likable. They're so cool. When they're introduced, you're like, fuck these douchebags. Can't wait till Andy pieces these. And now it's like, okay, all of these characters are amazing. The blind dude, who I would assume his rule is like never miss. You know what I mean? Just like perfect accuracy, right? Because like when he's introduced and they come into the Union like meeting, Andy shoots a bunch of parts bullets at everyone, and like the dude is like has his back turned in the chair, pulls out a fucking gun and shoots behind him, and ricochets the parts bullet away. And this dude is blind with his back to it, so you can assume he's got perfect accuracy. That dude is tight. Obviously, fucking Tatiana's cold blooded. And that's just such a unique idea for a character, you know what I'm saying? Like an 8-year-old girl in a giant suit of armor that is already tight on its own, but the reason she's in a suit of armor is because she's got one of the sickest fucking rules in the story.
My armor protects you.
I love it. And you have Shen, who's like very reminiscent of Shalnark in my opinion, but also Sun Wukong at the same time. And it's like, what are these characters?
He definitely is Sun Wukong. He's got the Nyoibo, you know, like or whatever. His art his artifact is
Nyoi something. It's Nyoi Kan or Noi Kien or something like some kind of new way to say it. Yeah.
So it's like, hey, we didn't get last Sayuki, so let's get some Shen in this bitch.
Right.
You know, like, I should you know, and he was even though he was, you know, basically like one of the he definitely was an antagonist at some point, but like he never was unlikable. Like he never I never was like, man, fuck this guy. Like and I just loved like how just the rules of now that everybody speaks Japanese or English or whatever now.
Everyone speaks English now except for negators.
Except for negators.
So that makes it easy for people hunting to find them, because if you speak it, unless you're looking for an American negator.
Exactly. Sure. But there's the fact that, you know, they're Chinese, they're gonna speak Chinese, and like him and his little assistant that runs with him, I forgot. Yeah. You know, it's and we've seen now Chinese antagonists now with this new group.
Fang.
Fang. Yep.
I think it is Fang.
I think it's Fang.
Oh, what if you know Shen?
Yeah. What if they come from the same, you know, whatever
dojo or some shit?
Negator dojo.
Dude. And you want to know what? Even inside of the antagonists, they're also like likable. You know what I mean? Like they're introduced douchey, then you find out more about them. Realize that they're not just like one-dimensional, like beat the bad guy or beat the protagonist kind of characters. They have their own motivations, and they all like make sense. They make you resonate with them in some kind of way, and it's not the same way every time. It's not just a sad backstory. It's actually very inventive all across the board here. Even in this newest antagonist, Unrepair, like he's easily the most douchey antagonist so far. Like even Andy said, like, we don't even want you on the team because you're a dick. You know what I mean? And like he like says that to him or whatever. But there was a moment, you know, like when Fuko like kisses him to activate the, you know, the luck, and then like his homegirl that he's carrying is like, oh, are they making out? And you know, and he like has a little like side word like, you want to do it too? And she's like, focus on what's going on here. I'm like, dude, you get cool moments like that like really make it hard to like watch them die eventually, which is another really cool thing about the series, is that characters die all the time, which is, I feel like, something that is missing in a lot of Weekly Shonen Jump, where you have, you know, right side of morality protagonists that have to apprehend overkill all the time, and it's like that is just a dynamic that I feel like doesn't need to be in every story in Weekly Shonen Jump, and it's not. You know, you have Jujutsu Kaisen, you have Undead Unluck, you have Jigokuraku, but like
moral gray area slaps.
Yes,
it's
absolutely.
just how it's going to be. You know, like those just make very intriguing stories, and it's just how it is. But yeah, so you're talking about I did write her name too, because I kind of wanted to theorize a little about Latla is what her name is, and so what do you think? What do you think it is? Like, what do you think her negator ability is?
I think it is I think her rule is something about accuracy or dexterity, like not unhittable, because that's obviously, you know, fucking Tatiana or whatever, or untouchable. But at the same time, the first two antagonistic negators that we saw were Shen and Void, and they had pretty much the same negator ability, but just targeting different things. So like it could be a situation like that.
So that's a good. I'm glad you said that too, because they always explain the negator type, like, self-targeting, compulsory, whatever, something like that, so
external targeting.
Yeah, exactly. There's slight variations to same negation abilities that do, as long as the application is different, can be used from a different person, with a different name. So very well could be similar to Tatiana.
What were you
but
thinking?
what I wanted to go with here is I have her as undo what can be seen, as unforesee. She can foresee a small sliver of the future and undo reality for that tiny bit and deflect with it. And
unforeseeable.
Unforeseeable, yeah.
Whoa! I think that has to be it, dude.
It would be so tight. It would seem broken. It has to have some good firm rules, like I'm saying, like it has to be in line of sight.
Yeah.
It has to be very short term, like a second of time that she can alter reality. This is coming at me. I'm changing
it's 1 second
trajectory.
Maybe it's not even
1
a second.
Yeah. Maybe it's not even a second. Yeah. Maybe it's a half a second of when she can see this point and she's changing trajectory at shit that's coming at her.
But if that's such a small error, like window of error, then she has to have trained the shit out of this, which it doesn't look like she's the kind of character that's honed her ability to that degree. Like she's very ditzy and very like, you know what I mean? Like, but she's still like,
you're right.
Yeah.
It could be where she's not triggering the ability. It could be automatic. See, that's the thing too with these negators.
So it's self-targeting on herself. So it's a self-targeter. Oh wait, no, because she's inside of proximity with because he's holding. Yeah, she's always very close to him. It's got to be self-targeting.
Yeah. Think of it maybe like when Killua first learns Kamaru and puts and can catch the
with
darts
the very
or whatever.
super thin end field.
Something like that. Yeah. So that'd be pretty sick.
Actually, no. That's because that's when he was getting sniped by Ikalgo. Was the super thin end field, but Kanbaru was like, it's touched me
as soon as it touched. As soon as it's touched. So maybe similar to the Ikalgo part. Yeah.
Wow.
But that'd be pretty sick.
That'd be super sick. Oh my god, I had a theory. We were in the Discord, and I was telling people in the Discord, like Malone and like everybody that was in the Kaiju 8 channel, and I was like, yo, I'm reading Undead Unluck. This shit is fucking crazy, bro. Like, I'm so glad that I picked this back up. Like, this is amazing. And Malone was like, let me know when you're, they've renamed themselves to the self-styled Kozuki Odin. But yeah, they were like, yo, let me know when you get to chapter 20. So I got to chapter 20, you know what I'm saying? And I saw like Galaxy or whatever. I think it was after the Victor, it was actually after the Victor fight when they were fighting Spoil. And I was like, this shit is really fucking cool. But then I thought about it, and I don't know if you saw this theory in the Discord or not. And if not, I'm excited. Yes, okay.
No,
all right.
So
check this out, bro. So I'm reading it, and when they're fighting Spoil, and Andy asks Shen, what day is it? And Shen was like, it's August 2020, and he was about to say the day of the month, like what number day of the month it was. He's like, no, the day, like what day of the week is it? And Shen was like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, dog. Like, I was like, okay, like whatever, that's weird. And then Galaxy comes and gives days of the week when they fail. Yeah. Galaxy comes and gives days of the week to the world. But Andy already knew what days of the week were. So obviously he's like either at or above, Victor rather, is either at or above the level of Apocalypse, because if he knows the rules before Apocalypse gives them, then he's got to be like the god, right?
So could Victor be like
the final boss god?
Actually.
Or the devil.
Could he have been around? Because it's like he's definitely been around for like 100 years. Like Andy has been around for like 100 years.
Yeah,
like Victor,
So
I think
Victor is probably way more than that.
Yeah. I mean, Victor is kind of like Sakuna in this sense.
Dude. Wow.
Maybe it's similar, or maybe since Andy's undead, he survived like the last Armageddon, and has been around.
The last Ragnarok, you mean? Yeah.
Or Ragnarok? Yeah.
And, shit.
And if maybe he just doesn't know, like subconsciously, like some of this information might leak out like, oh, all right, days of the week, like that's not something you would think twice about.
Right.
So yeah, maybe something like that. Maybe he's been around since the last. And like I kind of think of that too because it's like I just kind of got finished watching Fire Force, and that's kind of like a thing. It's like our world was burned, so like there's like a void century almost like
really?
that, you know? Yeah, kind of.
I haven't done. So I've done like one episode of Fire Force. I tried to start the manga, got like halfway through the first chapter, and I was like, I don't know why I haven't.
Well, and that's one of those. That was one of those kind of like an Undead Unluck or a fucking Chainsaw Man. Where like he's like, how much can you do with a fucking fire? We're all firemen, you know, like. So like I felt the same way too. It took me a little time to like sit down and watch anime. And when I did, I was like, oh yeah, it's a pretty cool premise, and maybe it's something like that where like there was a whole calendar, you know, before the last Ragnarok, and Andy was alive during that calendar, that iteration of the galaxy or whatever. Yeah. So that'd be pretty sick.
Fuck yeah. And I definitely want to make sure that I highlight how cold-blooded this dude's artifact is. Perfect name, Blade Runner. Oh my god, bro. When I saw that, I was like, you just get fucking Ryankaku in boots. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, oh my god. And the perfect name, Blade, like, if it was just the boots with the blades coming out, and it was named anything else, it wouldn't be a set, but that is literally the perfect name for this artifact. I was like, that is so cold, bro. Like,
well, and I want to talk about Unrepair a little bit here anyway, because the fact that he is basically anti-doctor using a scalpel, like, is the coldest shit ever. It's like his main fucking attacking weapon, like he's using on the boat with the fucking cold knifesmanship with the fucking scalpel. Bro, like that shit is so sick that he's like anti-doctor, right? Like running around with this guy. He gives me kind of like what the fuck am I Kabuto vibes.
From
right? Like,
Naruto,
a little bit, you know, but obviously he's not a doctor. He's literally anti-doctor.
Yeah,
really,
he's
like,
the exact opposite.
So like that's just super sick. And like, so the other thing that is kind of hard to notice is that he bleeds out of the eye patch and licks the blood in this chapter. Let me find what page it is. Yeah, and so. Is the eye patch an artifact? Like, what's going on with that? Like, that's it. It's page 13.
Why is he bleeding out of the fucking eye patch in the first place?
Yeah, I don't know. Like,
he has always got his tongue out though, licking, like whether he's taking damage or not though. Maybe there is always a string of blood whenever he does lick, because we've seen him licking his lip a couple times.
Well, yeah, and this part right here, maybe this is him exerting his ability, because he's talking about, I wrote it down the way I kind of wanted to say it, that he's telling Andy about his ability makes it a form of healing. Now you know that if you kill me, my technique ends on Fuko. So that is in fact healing. So the fact if you attack me with the intent to kill me solely to save your friend, that's just another healing technique, and that will not work.
Oh, that will not meant? Work. Oh yes, my god.
It's so
I was so confused by that dialogue. I was like, what the fuck do you mean by that?
Yeah, because let's see.
Dude,
what else
yes,
did I write about
wow.
So since Rip can deactivate the ability on Fuko, telling him about the ability, it's almost very Jujutsu Kaisen-ish, right? Like, I'm going to tell you about my ability, except for, you know, Jujutsu, it just like gives you like a spiritual increase on the ability or whatever, you know, on your Juryoku, where this is actually like hella fucking tactitious, if that's a word, where he's definitely, obviously this is like a trump card that he has, and maybe him by telling him this had that activated that blood for some reason, because it's like he's like, I'm using my ability like harder than I need to by exposing it, because maybe it's kind of like a even though it gives you this quid pro quo, I guess, like it's giving you this, it makes it so
there's an exchange. There's like an equivalent.
It is an exchange, exactly, where it's the same but the opposite as Jujutsu Kaisen at the same time. Like that really felt like that's what happened there. And if you Yeah, if you heal a wound, that's the thing. And this is how it all works out, is because if you heal a wound without the intent to heal it, unrepair doesn't trigger. And that's why Andy can heal himself by shooting finger guns and you know, whatever it is, because he's not trying to repair himself.
And then it skips that that condition, or it skips that
the condition,
restriction rather.
The restriction, because you didn't meet the condition.
Yes,
bro,
dude,
this power system is super tight.
It is super tight, and what's so cool about it is that one, abilities are hidden. So like a lot of the combat dynamic is wrapped around finding out what the ability is. Then because each ability has such an intense weakness, that allows so much strategy in all of the fights, because there's multiple levels to, you know, reach the end of the conflict. You have to find out what the ability is. Then once you find out the ability is, you have to find out the best way to exploit that ability. And then once you find that weakness, then you actually have to exploit it, which I'm sure characters are going to be aware of what their weakness is and have defenses against that. So the dynamic is going to be crazy.
Yeah, they're going to use misdirection to like almost put their weakness out there, so you don't think that's their weakness.
Telling half-truths, telling half-truths.
Yeah, half-truths, all that shit. Yes, definitely. Got the Hunter vibe there. You know, like these new age shonen are doing a great job, the ones that don't get axed on being taking things from their predecessors, but not copying and put their own spin, make it their own, and really form it to be something new and fresh. Like even though it's taking parts, you know, from their predecessors, but doing it the best way you can do
in a spectacular fashion, bro.
Definitely.
I'm so excited for the future of Undead Unluck, probably more so than I am. I mean, like, I'm really excited for the future of Marshall and Kaiju number 8. Yeah. But like, Marshall is like so reminiscent of everything that I love about this genre, but so new and fresh and inventive at the same time. How could I not be the most excited for the future of this story? You know what I mean? Because it's like there's so much tactics, there's so much, there's so many, like there's not a bad character. The character writing, it's like you don't think that a series is so true to shonen tropes, just enough, not overly reliant on them, but you see just enough shonen in this story while also having no idea what's in the writer's mind as far as what they're going to bring new to the genre, because he's already brought in so many new and inventive ideas to it that it's just like a flurry of like excitement, wonder, and just like reassurance and confidence that it's going to go the distance and it's going to be incredible the entire time.
Yeah, and I really got the sense, it really gave me optimism. Obviously, I had a lot of optimism for the story already, but it gives me a lot of optimism seeing that the meteor coming down was a feint. We're not going to always be dropping meteors as an attack. I've never seen a meteor as a feint. Yeah. Who the fuck drops a meteor as a feint attack? That's crazy.
Oh my God, that's so true. Wow, what a good point.
Like, well, and just like this whole fight too, just with Unmove, whatever his name was, Unmove, the kid with the hair, you know.
Yeah, he's got a weird ass name.
But
it's
I don't remember.
Hold on, I want to find it because it's such a weird name. Andy always calls it. It might not even be his real name, but he says it like, "Oh my God!" And now that I'm thumbing back through, I'm sorry, I'm gonna let you get back to your point. But the narration, the narrator when it's explaining, oh my God. The narration explaining the phenomenon that is, or the strategy of what's happening was like, it could have been an internal monologue in Andy's head. You know what I mean? It could have been Andy saying it himself, but it was the narrate, like proper use of narrator. You got me by the beard.
If you've been watching us for quite some time, you know we are a fan of narration. We are not the people who are on the other end that say Hunter's terrible because the narrator's talking to us. Like, what the fuck's wrong with you? Like it doesn't make any sense.
Such a cool layer of dramatic effect and theater and like just it enhances everything when there's an outside force going, guess what? This is what's going on right now, and everything like the use of narration makes everything feel slow-mo. You know what I mean? It makes everything feel like it's animated in slow motion, but it's all still. I love that about the narrator.
It also gives you a bit of uncertainty that the characters involved don't know everything that's transpiring, right? Like, so when you have inner monologue, you're like, okay, so this character knows exactly, basically everything that's transpiring, which is fine, you know, in situations.
That's an
it's totally
amazing
fine.
point.
but
never
like,
even thought of it that way.
Well,
yeah,
because Andy, like, you don't expect, even though he's clever, he's not the smartest, guy, and he knows how his ability works really well. But
his experience on the world helps with him is his deductive reasoning because of how much he's seen. But you're right, the narration lets us know that he might not know everything every time. Because that can get old really quick. Like,
it can.
I've seen something close enough to this ability before in my 1,000 or 100 years, 200 years on this planet. So I'm always going to have the trick up my sleeve because of how much I've been through in my life. That's cool at first. Love that while you're initially developing and characterizing the character. But like, eventually I'm just going to be like, okay, so he's going to have an answer for everything because he's a billion years old. Like, but the narration, I never thought of it like that, dude. Like, it lets us know that they might not be aware of everything. That is so good.
We don't need firm everything all the time, right? Uncertainty is good, especially early in stories. You want to be uncertain about shit.
Yes.
Like, that's what's intriguing and keeps you reading.
Back.
Yes. Definitely. Definitely. So that's great. But about Unmove, what I was talking about also.
Yes.
The fact of him putting himself into, harm's way so he can he can freeze what's in his line of sight, which is just Unrepair and what was her name, Latla. Just freeze them two, because Andy's directly behind him shooting the finger bullet.
Yeah, so he can only see the side of his face and his shoulder. That was such good, bro. That was so good.
Well, like right here, all the way at the end, gives the opening, which let's see, Crimson Bullet's what it's called, which is
Crimson fucking Bullet, and his finger is like it's got 16 rubber bands like wrapped around it, just like filled up with blood and shit. Like,
Where's the? Let's see. Therefore, he made a crucial call. He would focus on generating all the blood and calcium he had lost into his fingertip, and fire off a super pressurized finger bullet.
Yes,
like, that's fucking tight. That's
so sick. So
good.
Sick.
Just good explanation on everything.
Yeah.
And so let's see here. He's powering up the bullet or whatever. Okay, now to clean up the rest, Unrepair is gonna dash at Fuko and Unmove, and
Unmove when he says you fell for it, because he goes Gurk or whatever and then like closes his eyes. So obviously Unmove is not in effect there because his eyes are closed. Then. So wait,
opens them.
But then opens them at the last second.
Because remember he was scared and he would tense up.
Yeah,
he would. He faked that he was scared. He faked that he was scared there, or maybe he overpowered
because he rushed before he closed his eyes. Rip and Latla rushed him while his eyes were open.
But that's his condition: is he can't move at all. He has to keep complete. He has.
And he's shaking.
Still.
He's shaking as they're rushing at him. I see the illustration now.
Yep. So that's and he's faking that he's shaking. He faked the shakes right there.
Yeah.
And, shaking from Jake, and he fucking fucking opens the eyes, and I wanted you to take a diagonal approach. I wanted to make sure Mr. Andy could use your body as a shield.
Yeah.
A shield, for his vision too.
Yes. So that Andy's behind him, and that's not affected by Unmove. And also his back is to Andy, so Latla cannot deflect.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow.
Yep. And so we got a big ass hole in Unrepair's heart, seemingly, right? I don't see how he
close
can come back
enough to it to die from it.
Yeah. It looks like he should die from this, but like I said, that eye patch could be another artifact, and who knows? Like there definitely could be, and if Latla can, if unforeseeable is her ability, where she can like change reality for a split second, maybe she could repair the wound real quick. I don't know, that'd be crazy. That'd be I feel wild. As long as it's like within that half second, or whatever, like that would be crazy. I don't know though, like if this guy goes out, that's cool, man. And we know, like, from the history of this story, people die. Gina got wrecked. Gina's out of here.
If anyone was going to live, it would have been Gina.
That's what I thought too. I thought Gina was gonna it was gonna work out, but no, it didn't.
Wow.
yeah, Void too. Void got killed. Like, it's there's definitely
fodder getting
stakes.
just their caps peeled back left and right.
Oh,
there was a cold-blooded ass panel like earlier, like I think maybe like 3 chapters ago, where just like subtly, dude was talking and fucking like blew this dude's brains out on the ground. You know what I'm saying? Like this bald-headed dude, like just had the gun. I didn't even notice it at first. Like I almost went too far past it. But I was like, wait a minute, he just shot this dude in the back of the head while he was talking to people. I was like, this shit is vicious, bro. Hold on.
Yeah. This is very serious. Definitely feels. I mean, feels like there's this just changing of Shonen Jump where it's like these
it's moving into a more mature light. It's really still using the tropes that are the most important, but it's like leaving behind that like we never kill anybody kind of like vibe, because not because like its readers are growing up, because it's still the same demographic, but like how many times are you gonna tell the same story? You know what I mean? So like it's like we have had what 50 years of Shonen Jump now, 40 to 50 years of Shonen Jump, and the tropes back when the Shonen genre like started are starkly different than, you know, the tropes that were even in the previous generation, like Naruto, Big Three, like area, you know what I'm saying? So like we've seen the evolution of this genre, and we've talked about it on the show multiple times, and it's cool that the changes that are being made now, among all of the other changes since the beginning of the publication line, are finally moving towards a more mature, without needing to be seinen kind of like situation, you know what I mean? And it's like pushing the boundaries of like what is shonen is really fucking cool to see right now inside of Jump. Definitely. Love it. Oh my god, one more thing, that's funny ass thing. So when I was reading through this, and like before the conflict started, and you know, Unrepair and all of his people like came through, and then like Feng, like he asked Feng a question, and then Latla had to be like, he only speaks Chinese, Rip. You know what I mean? I didn't know his name was Rip yet. So when she says he only speaks Chinese, Rip, I thought she was saying rest in peace. Like, he only speaks Chinese, Rip. You know what I'm saying?
Well, and you can see with the translators, not only in Shonen Jump or just manga, period, in Shonen Jump, these are the only official like translations I guess you really get, but whatever. But even like you see on like dubs or whatnot, like I've seen some dubs, they're really trying to change the lingo to make it hip. Like I'm down, you know, let's you know, like there's a lot of that shit, let's get it, you know, like, and it's just like
we out here.
It's like well, I'm not against it, but you know, that's, as long as it's used you know, not in not a, you know,
cringy way.
Cringy corny way.
Corny way. Fuck yeah. All right, are we good on Undead Unluck?
Yeah.
All right, fuck yeah. Okay, so let's go into the last manga of the night, which is Jigokuraku, the longest one running. We have about 108 chapters of Jigokuraku now, and this is something that was also explosive from the beginning. And as far as like how I feel about Jigokuraku, obviously me and you specifically are heavily into the older Edo Meiji, you know what I'm saying, like style, like period pieces that like you know, like that we came up on. So seeing something like this inside of Jump is just always cool to see, especially with such an inventive spin on it. I feel like this is one of the strongest chapter ones that I've ever read inside of this genre. Like for real, and like for
that
real.
That shit peeled the cat back right away.
Yes, I was like, I'm reading. I was like, I'm reading the shit out of this just off the first chapter. Chapter, I was like, okay, unkillable shinobi. They tried to execute him like 17 times. It never works. He's nonchalant about it. He's like,
so we got a little Kaido up in this bitch already. Like, first chapter.
Yes, and he's a ninja among samurai. It's a really cool. The Asaimon dynamic is really cool because they're technically Ronin, but like they have a new job now. You know what I mean? Like that's one of the coolest.
And their social status is still like up in the air. Like they're like, we have to serve the shogunate to like rise in ranks, and then you get this nice fucking moral gray area with the assignment. That's the whole story basically is and you got, you know, like Shugen over here who's like, no, I'm doing what needs to be done every time, killing all these
strictly order, 100% order character,
and a Kainu type, you know, and that's obviously he's on the far end of the scale compared to like Sagiri, who has you know, kind of her her just outlook has been up in the air the whole time. It's like, sure, you know, I'm a decapitator. You know, my father was famous. Not really. I throw the jizz of shit in there. But yeah, like,
listen to Fourth Chamber by Jizz Off Liquid Swords if you want context there.
But yeah, so
or no, is that that's
the intro.
That's Duel of the Iron Mike, isn't it? Oh no.
It's just the intro, which is I forgot what this title of it is. But it's definitely the intro.
Okay.
It's tightest intro to anything you'll ever listen to in rap, I promise you that.
Yes.
But yeah, so she has it's great that she was, you know, pretty strict and firm to begin with. And like her getting to know Gabimaru has changed her throughout the time, and then getting to know like Yuzuriha, and that's her name, right?
Yuzuriha,
yeah. And getting to know like these villains, whatever, these criminals.
You can't even call anybody a hero or a villain. Like, obviously you have protagonists and antagonists, but the morality line is so blurred.
Yeah, there's nobody.
Yeah,
there's
exactly.
Nobody who.
It's just a bunch of people with different selfish interests that like are operating under a guise that they're working for a governing body or an establishment that is bigger than themselves, but ultimately people are just doing what feels right to them. And I feel like that's like the biggest theme in the series is social status versus personal desire, or like what feels right to you versus what's right in the law or in, you know, in society, you know what I mean? And
social status versus personal desire is the perfect way to word it. It's there's definitely, I mean,
social responsibility rather, because like your status does matter, but when you're talking about like, okay, this is what I want and what I feel is right, it goes more against social responsibility as a dichotomy than it does your social status, even though your social status is tied to that responsibility, but still just like wanted to make sure that I drew that line.
Well, there, and it's like the social status is so up in the air for the Asaemon. Like the shogunate literally could not give a shit about them.
Right,
and
but they're so highly revered by people like that aren't a part of that club. You know, as if they are important as shit. But like and in the grand scheme,
we got maybe a couple chapters ago, even somebody, I think it's the like the mountain girl, the big girl, I forget her name.
Isuzu.
Isuzu, yep. I think she was the one saying that the shogunate didn't care about these people to begin with. If they really cared, if they really cared about getting the job done, they would have just sent Shugen to begin with. Just send Shugen by himself, and he was going to take care of this shit and they didn't do that. So like, there's definitely like other shit in play here, and then there's so much
depth to the motivations, because it's like you have people that are so hardcore on the side of order for an establishment that whose higher ups don't even care about order. They're more in love with the initial ideals that this establishment is hiding behind or disguising themselves with than they are the actual establishment themselves. And that's that's a really fucking cool dynamic to see inside of the characters as far as motivations go, because it's like, why are you fighting so hard for people that don't care about you? Because you like the lie they're telling as far as a way to live your life. And that's fucking awesome. That's fucking awesome. When we see the shogunate Gorosei, that's gonna slap so hard, bro. It's gotta be, because it's like, what happened? Like, I just don't feel like the story ends when they get off the island. No,
right? Like,
hell no. We have a back home arc or two. For sure.
Yeah, like Gabimaru's got to fucking kill the chief, right? And he's got to go back to Yui, right?
There's a lot of plot threads that have to be tied up.
Definitely. And with this chapter, we do have confirmation from Shija that Yui is real and alive, even though this has been such a fucking weird, like, I mean, it's been
genjutsu? Is it not? It's being the genjutsu like lie has been used as a weapon against Gabimaru, and that's why I loved this, because so like one of the biggest things that I feel like establishes stakes inside of a shonen story specifically is, am I confident that I know how the protagonist is going to get out of a dire situation, even though I know they're always going to survive until at least the very end of the story because they're the main character? Am I ever confused as to how they're going to accomplish that goal when new conflicts come? Because obviously the main character is going to be contested. You know he's going to beat the bad guy contesting him. Sometimes they lose. It's very rare. And if they do lose, you can be pretty sure that they're not going to die. But lives are always on the line in this story. So when it looks like Gabimaru's gonna die, I'm like, okay, I know he's gonna win here, but I can't find out how yet. And if you keep me guessing until the very end, that's one huge mark for you as a storyteller. The second huge mark is if he wins in a way that is different than how he's historically won in the history of the story. So now you're killing the game in the two biggest ways for me as far as stakes and consequence goes in storytelling. And when you're getting all the reasons why the chips are down for him, the Tao is fucking reacting crazy. He's exhausted from just fighting for fucking an entire arc straight, you know what I mean? Like 17 fights in a row, like he's on his last legs. And
he's fought so many people.
Yeah, like, Sagiri doesn't have an opening to restore him with Tao. You know what I'm saying? And even if she did, the fucking Tao the Tan is overcoming him in a way that halts that regenerative process. So you're like, what is he going to fucking do? He's got the Ninpo hairlock tied fucking Sagiri up. So you're like, what the fuck is this? But he's talking shit the entire time and accidentally tells Gabimaru that Yui is a real person. So now, because everything is spiritually and physically balanced, his spirits are higher than ever before because he has confirmation about the lie they've been weaponizing against him the entire fucking series. And on a psychological level inside of Gabimaru, that's what's wiltering and like hindering his mental state is my wife real? Is she not? I know that Shinobi's lie, like that, like misdirection and fucking, you know, all that shit. It's like,
I gotta see it to believe it.
Day one, I gotta see it to believe it. I know that these motherfuckers lie. That's the first thing you learn in Shinobi school. You know what I'm saying? Like, but now the confirmation is there. Now he can fucking regenerate. That is so much better than a fucking ass pull Super Saiyan power up. Like,
and it's you mentioned balance, and this whole fucking energy system is based on balance, yin and yang. So like it's exactly
perfect counters, perfect fucking like it's like Pokemon, you know what I'm saying, with the elements and the elemental counters and shit. I have literally no complaints about Jigokuraku after 100. Like, okay, the one complaint that I thought that I had was the art, because it definitely feels minimalist at times. But at the same time, I feel like it's so a part of the plan in those moments that like it doesn't matter to me. I don't ever feel like Yuji Kaku is being lazy in his drawings. I just feel like he's already established that like he's a sketchier artist. So like sometimes you're going to see things that aren't as detailed as other times. But like we also know that there's a time constraint, and his top tier art is among, I will want to say, like when he's trying his hardest,
fucking flowers and shit growing out of buildings and fucking trees and fucking vines and all this, dude. That shit is so good. And so I liken it to Gege a little bit. I mean, it's not the same thing, but it's the same concept where it's like they have completely different art styles. But it's roughly the same concept.
This is where I focus all of my talent here, and then I can kind of like, for the sake of time, because I've already established a sketchy style in general, people aren't going to be too taken aback when a panel might have a little bit less detail than other areas. You know what I mean? Yeah,
for sure. And it could be a good or a bad thing, however you want to look at it. Personally, I think it's not a bad thing when the art is this way. Like with Jujutsu Kaisen, we got the anime coming in October, and you can't adapt an anime to that art style. So you got to take some liberties and change things up and make it cleaner. And like Mappa, the shit we've seen thus far, you know, looks clean and beautiful. So like I'm so for what they're doing with fucking Jujutsu Kaisen. I expect the same thing kind of with Chainsaw Man. Again, an artistry style that's not as adaptable, like cleanly. Like when you look at Kaiju number 8, we talked about how good and clean this art is, that the animation is just going to copy the fucking manga. Like, it's going to look almost the fucking same. Which that's cool too. Like, and good for that animation studio that gets it, that doesn't have to work hard to use any fucking
any imaginative, like, you know, like how am I going to make up for this or that? It's just boom, I can just go frame for frame for the most part.
And again, like I don't think either thing is a bad thing. I like it. I like it both ways. Like if your manga is that fucking pretty that the anime can just basically copy it, good for that studio, you know. And if they fuck up, they're a bad studio, because it should be basically a free knock out of the park, right?
On the other side of the coin, though, if your animation studio is passionate enough about the project that they're adapting, and they understand it to the point where they can add things that aren't jarring and don't like throw off the vibe because it's not technically a part of the source material, but they get the source material enough to where they can take those liberties and they make sense. Fuck yeah, that's another
Implied filler is the only filler that should ever happen.
Yes, you know, like, I agree with you.
It's just how it works.
I agree.
I mean, and we've moved away from the. I mean, there's still One Piece, but like we've moved away from the one chapter, one episode, concurrently running forever and ever, weekly, no stop anime. We've basically moved away from that, so we're gonna get less and less of that.
Oh, it's so exciting. Are gonna get
is yes, it is. I'll take seasons every day of the week over what
100%.
Because
100%.
If we can get a One Piece Kai with better animation
and it's seasonal, stop it. That's going to be the move. And I mean, the new generation is going to need that. Like, obviously, you want to keep the OG there because the beginning of like pre-time skip One Piece is like peak animation.
Yeah, it's like 90s rap. It's the golden age, bro.
It's the golden age, bro. Like, you need that there. But for the newer generation, if you are going to readapt for them, do it this way. Like, look at the fucking, look at the Soul or the Shaman King reboot that we're getting here. Shaman King was a one episode a week ongoing thing until it stopped. But like this is going to be seasonal, I would assume, or maybe they don't really need to make it seasonal. Because
it won't be seasonal. It'll be like Hunter x Hunter, and like that makes sense.
Sworn that I saw that it would be seasonal, but
it could be because no matter
but there's no reason for it to be though, because there's no source material you have to wait to stack up for.
Well, and if you listened to us last night on our Chainsaw Man thing, you know, where we're, you know, what to expect for anime, you know, we've talked about how animation studios put out feeler seasons of 12 episodes, whatever, 13 episode season. So like that makes sense.
So they don't overly commit.
Going to do that. Overly commit. So that makes sense for me if that's what's happening with Shaman King. But going
back to the art. So going back to the art in Jigokuraku, I feel like we touched on the art. I feel like we touched on the art at least enough for now, but I want to move into the writing of Yuji Kaku because this motherfucker can write his ass off, and I think that is the strongest aspect of Jigokuraku is how much research Yuji Kaku has done on this period piece, and just like how perfect it feels as a Edo or Meiji. I don't know exactly what era they are in off the top of my head, but like this is one of the strongest historical feels that I've seen in a manga, but at the same time, his writing is so poetic and it's so like articulate at the same time. You know what I mean? Like it's obviously like way back in the day, like, you know, old style like history, but he's using his vocabulary is fucking high level. And I just feel like I don't see vocabulary to this degree while also telling an old hat historical story. You know what I mean? Because not that they didn't have these words back then, and I honestly don't know because I'm not a historian, but like it's just really cool to see like how big of words are being used regularly in the series while it being such an old historical story. So that's one thing that I love about it. As far as the character writing goes, I feel like every character is so unique and they all get such good characterization. There's misdirection in every single character. You're introduced to them one way, they change drastically throughout their character arc, and you hate them sometimes, you love them sometimes, you don't know what to expect from them all of the time, and it's just such a good way to keep your story engaging and keep people coming back week to week, and to just see these characters grow in the way that you establish early on in your series, because Sagiri shows up and we're like, this bitch is cold. And then as soon as she goes to the fucking island, oh, she's really weak actually. And then that misdirection is super interesting itself. And you're like, okay, so Sagiri sucks. And then it's like her shonen main character arc throughout her time on the island, where she goes from sucking to being amazing. You know what I mean? And it's like every character is like that. And every character has such unique motivations, such unique backstories, and all the while having amazing dialogue that is so poetic, you know, at times, you know what I mean? It's like this motherfucker really understands creative writing in a way that like you just don't see this often in the genre of this level. You know what I mean? Like this is seinen level, like dialogue writing, just like in like research in general. Like I feel like this is Kingdom, Berserk, Vagabond, but like the shonen version. You know what I mean?
Well, this is Jump Plus.
It is Jump Plus. It is Jump Plus, but it's still shonen demographic. So that's why it's so like crazy to see.
This is the sweet spot for me.
This is shonen. Perfect.
Shonen to seinen sweet spot. Like this is exactly where I want things to be. Like, you know, I don't need
It's not so seinen that there's sexual
assault.
I
don't need some of this berserk level monster rape type shit. Like I don't really need that.
Yeah,
like
but
I mean, berserk's a masterpiece and all.
It is a masterpiece, but I get what you're saying. It's seinen enough, and it's shonen enough. It's not so seinen that there's sexual assault, but it's not so shonen that like it's campy. You know what I mean? At times, it's never campy. The stakes have always been high, and like the world building and character progression and depth in storytelling is just like rare. I feel to get this perfect like blend and combination of all of these amazing factors from both genres in one story.
Definitely. And what you were talking about, Sagiri here, getting all the progression that she's gotten. It's been really great. It feels like we haven't had a lot for a while, though, which she had a lot in the beginning and then a lot of when they first landed on the island.
Her character arc did kind of stagnate for a little bit. I'm not going to front.
And, well, so that's the thing. It's just like I really did want her to have more of a fight with Shija, at least for a little bit here. But it was fine. Like, it makes sense why she shouldn't really be able to fight. Him or her, I'm not really sure. And that there's a lot of
androgynous.
It's very androgynous. Like I'm not, and it was never told. We've never got that information. Like, and that shit hits so hard when you see Shija scarring himself to look like Yuji, or to look like Yui, to look like his wife, and how much he's in love. I think it's a he. I've been saying,
I'm pretty confident that he is, and I just love how perfect and complete his character arc was in such a short period of time. And that goes back to the character writing, such prowess that Yuji Kaku has. It's like this character is brand new and has more development and progression than most shonen characters see in the entirety of the story of their respective stories for characters that have been there since chapter 1, chapter 5, chapter 10. You know what I'm saying? Like his character arc was beautiful, and it was because of the placement of his flashbacks with his training with with Gabimaru, and his motivations were perfectly fleshed out. Obviously, he's like a obsessive, like Gabimaru fanboy, but it never reached like cringy levels. It always made sense considering the exposition we got of his past. He got perfect pathos. He got perfect everything fleshed out beautifully up until the end of his arc, and I was like, this is peak fiction in this character right here. You know what I mean? Like,
and we got a lot of like kind of the same thing, but it's not the end of his character arc with Shugen though. It's like Shugen's a fairly new character too, and it's like we already have so much exposition on his character already. Like and just everything about just what he embodies and whatever his ultimate justice or whatever the hell. And it's like we're going to see, especially since Jika, this is the most interesting shit ever. Jika, the old
Jika, bro. Oh my god, I love
that's the tightest
Jika.
shit. And
I love
having
Jika.
Fucking Toma kill fucking Shugen because Shugen isn't going to know that Toman is actually Chobei's brother. Yeah. So it's like that's just going to be fucking crazy. I don't think Toma's going to pull it off. Toma seems too soft, and Shugen seems too tactical, aware, too aware. Don't let shit like that happen to him. But still, like that's
going to be an incredible dynamic. Is Shugen going to be able to put it together that this is Jika's doing? Because if so, then we get a Shugen versus Jika fight, and they're the two personalities and combat types that I feel like would be the most incredible to see clash. Because Shugen has the entirety of the Asaemon Guard at his disposal, and Jika has a completely new situation where was born with Tao, like kind of like a Pitou situation inside of Jigokuraku, where like you didn't have to learn shit, like he just got it. And like Shugen is probably going to end up being, and see, like these are okay. So I've had two kind of complaints throughout my time reading Jigokuraku, and I'm gonna break them down real quick. So the first complaint that I had was how weird it felt until later on we got really good writing from Yuji Kaku that didn't completely make me feel 100% good about it, but good enough. But
we just how Tao's introduced.
Well, okay, so Tao's introduced. It's an amazing energy system. We get it fleshed out perfectly. We get all of its major concepts reiterated to almost annoying levels, which I personally love inside of an energy system.
If it's complex, tell us a lot of shit.
Like rehash the most important points over and over and over again. I will never complain about that. Every time you're talking about Tao, preach, talk your shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, I need to get this, you know what I mean? So that was never a problem for me, but we took so long to learn it and for our main cast to understand it, and then they reach a level where they're very proficient at it, and it's such a big deal to be proficient at it, and then these brand new characters show up that are giving them trouble despite just getting to the island and like not really knowing what Tao is. I mean, we find out that the Iwagakure ninjas always used it, and that's what explained the hardening of the skin, the acetic blaze, things like that. But at the same time, you should not be giving any of these Tao users trouble at any point in time when you're brand new to this place and don't even know what Tao is. But Yuji Kaku ended up making it make enough sense because of how exhausted the main characters were versus how they were. Also, like their mental states were like, you know, crazy because of that exhaustion. You know what I mean? So, but at the same time, when they're breaking down the I don't remember what the final form of the Tenzin is that they're fighting right now. It's like Baka something, Bakuno, Bakuno. I think it's Bakuno or Banako, or maybe it's Bansho. I don't know.
I'm gonna look at it up.
Yeah. Like you find that, but when they're fighting that, and then they all come together, and Jika pulls up on Isuzu and Sagiri, and like, you know, kind of like sways her to like cooperate with them. They're like, and then Shion is like, okay, here's the plan. Everyone's got a different type of Tao, and you all have to like use it in tandem with another person. These people that haven't been taught Tao are just like linked with people that they can, or wait, maybe it wasn't. Yeah, it was like that because Isuzu and another character are linked to go after one of the fucking, you know. So it's like, how are they able to automatically just like use the Tao in a way that they need with the character that they're paired with when it took our main cast so long to even be able to use Tao in any regard?
I think it's the abundance of tan in the air. No, the tan in the air, and they're ingesting those tan particles. It's like bacteria floating and shit.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure it's off screen or whatever, but they have like a with the Nen divinity test or whatever
Nen divinity or Nen divination.
Divination test. Yeah, like basically that for whatever your type is.
Yeah.
So or maybe
so they were kind of like baptized by the tan in the air. So where their Tao is unlocked, but like, because no one who's brand new to Tao is in the attacking position. They're only in the support position.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That Yuji Kaku, dog, bro, stop.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
And the only other complaint I had is that Shugen, being the kind of character that utilizes the fighting styles of his fallen comrades, made me feel for a moment. And Yuji Kaku has since written his way out of this again because he's a fucking cold-blooded writer. But like when he was fighting Gantetsusai, and you learned that he just had a backlog of techniques saved from the Asaimon that he trained and spent time with, it made me feel like Yuji Kaku was upset that he killed so many of these Asaimon early in the series. So he wants them to live vicariously through Shugen. And it made me think like, well, why the fuck did you kill them all then? But then, and I don't know if that's regret on Yuji Kaku's part, or if that's an editorial decision where they're like, we didn't see enough of these characters that were popular, you know what I'm saying? And like, you killed them all too soon because you're a maniac, just killing high tiers at a whim, you know, for shock value or whatever. I have no idea what the argument or conversation was between Yuji Kaku and editorial, but that felt weird to me at first until we got more of Shugen's character fleshed out, and then I was totally fucking cool with it. You know what I mean? So, but those are literally the only two complaints that I've ever had in the series. Ever.
Yeah. I took Shugen's ability as basically Sharingan. He was copying, you know, of the people he trained with, and then even adding, you know, adding something to it because he states like, if he would have put a little bit more pressure here, it would have it would have took him to the next level. Or
right.
You know, like,
well, we got a line of dialogue that kind of justified it, right? Like he's so I don't even know like what
Absorbent?
words. Yeah, he's so observed. Yeah, there was. I think the word absorb was like used, but it was an amazing line of dialogue that totally justified it for me. He's such a prodigious talent. He trained half of the Asaimon, so like he understands their fighting styles because of how much time he's spent with them, and he's so like he's so like comprehensively astute. I don't even know like what word combination I'm trying to use here, but he's very aware, and he's very, you know, like maybe he had, I don't even know, like photographic memory. I don't even know like really what it was that he was trying to say, but it sounded great. And if you guys in the comments want to like let us know what that specific line of dialogue was, that would be great, because I don't want to like go back in the story real, you know, to find it right now, but like, you know what the fuck I'm talking about. Like Yuji Kaku worded it in such a genius way where I was like, fuck Definitely. Yeah, you did it. You know what I mean? Yeah.
And I guess the only couple of things I want to talk about, let me see, last chapter, before this most previous chapter, how Gabimaru does basically the ascetic blaze, the full fire, the fucking kamikaze you know,
and then hugs him.
Shit. Hugs him. That shit slapped.
Yes,
that was great.
But dude, all of fucking Shige's like extra ninpo were so tight. The hair kunai, bro. I was like,
what the hell?
Oh my god, bro.
Wow, that shit was super
His
tight.
entire fight with Shige was just so beautiful. And like it was just all the action you needed in that conflict that you were expecting ever since it was built up for like the entirety of this arc when Shige's character is introduced. You know what I mean? And I was like, this is a perfect final battle between these two characters. Like,
well, and Shige in particular, you're like, man, we got a job to do here. Like, are we really about to throw your fucking number one rival in front of you when you got to deal with the fucking whatever? You got to go kill one of the flowers or
and
whatever.
Get the elixir. Yeah.
And they got to kill each flower at the same time or whatever. And it's like,
oh yeah. Okay, I see what you're saying now.
Yeah,
they're like, really gonna give him his biggest fight so far when the tensions are so high for everyone to come together and communicate.
It was fine. No, it works well. The way that it's written in there is fine, just because of the characterization of Shige, where he's so just, the only thing that matters is killing Gabimaru or turning him back to his old self, I guess. Like at first it was just like, it made sense that I need to kill him because I'm actually Gabimaru now. I'm the next Gabimaru in line, right? Like I'm the new Hollow or whatever. And so like that made all the sense in the world. That's what he wants to do. It was just like, I don't want to call it off-putting because it fits well. It's just it's the tension was so high.
It was like, so high,
man. And the way that Gabimaru explains, like, this is even more annoying, and this is going to be a harder battle than any of the tension
because of how unhinged Shige is, and you never know if he's on you. Like he's so fickle, and like his psychopathy is so intense that like he's obviously obsessed with Gabimaru, so it makes you think he'll do whatever Gabimaru says. But he's so. But like the Iwagakure way is so kill the strong so that you're the next strongest. There's such a respect for assassination inside of their ranks that like, okay, like, is he really going to fanboy that hard for Gabimaru that he completely stops this like bloodthirsty, like, you know, like rivalry to do whatever he says? Maybe, because it seems like he's that obsessed with him, but at the same time, it's like, no, the ultimate thing is beating Gabimaru to show not only the ultimate respect for him, and Gabimaru understands that. He knows that the ultimate respect is killing the person you revere. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like, there was so much, like, I have no idea what's going to happen that played into how high the tension was. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's just something, I basically just want to say, like, it's something like I haven't really seen before. It's like, we have this clear goal that we have 5 separate groups all going to, you know, complete. They all have to fight whatever Tensen is the element. It's like a clone Tensen for one of the elements or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's
the facsimiles of Tensen. That's
such a hard, like, a huge giant task that's hard as fuck, and then we're gonna just throw you a main boss right in the front of you, and he's just standing there like, what, you know, in your way, flexing in front of Gabimaru. I'm like, this motherfucker's crazy. This story's crazy. The guy writing is crazy, and the fucking and Shija is crazy as fuck.
He's got Sagiri hemmed up
with the hair through the ground.
Yeah, so it's just like, holy shit, like what are these stakes? Like what the fuck is that's what like goes into the point that I was making earlier. It's like Gabimaru is on his last legs, physically, spiritually, mentally, like he's coughing up blood like on a fucking basket of flowers while Sagiri's toying with fucking Sagiri, dropping the fucking like, you know, the never fear and the never bliss like combo threat. You know what I mean? I was like, oh my god. I just remembered the tightest part of their fight with Shija and fucking Gabimaru. When Shija throws the fucking roundhouse kick, that's a feint because it's a fucking hair clone of his leg. Remember that? Yeah. He throws the roundhouse kick and he blocks it, but it wasn't his real leg. It was a hair leg, and then he goes with the real leg after that and clocks his shit. I was like, oh my god, what is this choreography right now? That shit was so sick. But yes,
killed that shit.
But yes, that whole entire scene was so crazy because of how many moving parts it had, playing into and working together to play into the tension and stakes in the moment. I was like, holy shit, this is how you write a fucking ninja story and samurai story at the same time. Like, I don't even know what to call Jigokuraku, but it's a fucking masterpiece, bro. Like, for real.
Yep.
And I hope that we have so much more of the story left, because it's like, I don't want to just now start reviewing it for it to be over in 10 episodes, you know what I mean? Like, I want this to be so much longer. Like,
I don't think that's the case. I think we're going to get at least 60 more chapters, I want to say, because there definitely has to be a mainland going back to the shit. You know, like, there has to be full arcs to like resolve a lot of these loose threads here that we need to do. So like, I really expect there to be more, but like you said, though, a lot of characters died. Like, did you, man, like,
never expected Aizen to die, never expected Tenza to die, never, and those were, it seemed like holy shit shock value, like, okay, this is how high the stakes are, characters are just going to die left and right, but like the way that they were still woven into the story eventually, I feel like made it so satisfying. And I know that I said it felt like weird that Shugen was like just, you know, like a fucking, like, you know, like whatever I said about Shugen and him being able to copy the abilities of everyone, it made me feel like Yuji Kaku like regretted killing so many characters so early. But like the way that it all ended up, if that was on a whim, holy shit, you're a fucking genius for writing it the way that you fucking did, bro. Because like, I mean, the deaths made a lot of sense. Like Senta, you know, like Senta's that made a lot of sense. Shuichi's really death was great.
Yeah. Well, did you really think that he was going to heal Gantetsu Sai?
No.
And like, I mean, it was so. I didn't think
he was going to die.
Yeah,
him dying was crazy, but him healing Gantetsu Sai wasn't as crazy.
Well, that's the thing. It's like he basically chose Gantetsu Sai's life over his own because he said, you know what? I've changed. I can't go back to the mainland with this because I won't be able to follow the shogunate anymore.
Right.
Like, I'm a different person now. Yeah. So it's like I may as well leave this person on this island. Yeah. That's who I am, and I'm done. I'm out of here.
And that made a lot of sense. Yeah. Because that ostracization that he would see when he came back, they'll just kill him. Yeah. You know, like they're not just gonna say go be a regular person after that. They're gonna be like, oh, you're leaving the shogunate? Oh no, you don't leave the shogunate. Yeah, you know what I mean?
And that's the other thing too. It's like really rare to me to see like the highest class scientist / doctor die, right? Like he was so like, it felt like pivotal to the story, especially with so many injuries that have happened and like so much to know. Like he's doing all the research on all this shit, dissecting everything and fucking, you know, learning about it. Like all his knowledge, I felt had to go back to the mainland.
Yes,
and it did not. He died. That's crazy.
That is crazy.
That's fucking
he's
crazy.
Not just pivotal to the story, he's pivotal to the world, because we got that line of dialogue where he's like, y'all are calling me crazy because I'm a corpse like scientist. Like when like this is I'm finding ways to cure diseases, to cure wounds that you don't know how to heal. Don't ask me for nothing if you're gonna fucking vilify me and like make me feel weird as shit for doing this when this is like progressive for like humanity itself. Like I'm doing real work right here for everybody, and you're making me feel shitty for that. Don't ever ask me for no medicine if you get a bad wound that you don't know how to heal with herbs. You know what I'm saying? Like I was like, oh my god. So you're totally right. He's not going to be able to bring this knowledge of this this shit back to the, oh my God,
yeah, because
bro.
no matter how, all these, fighting talents have mastered their Tao and they are learning about it. Like they're going to be able to explain it on a, layman level, but they're never going to be able to explain it on Fuchi's level and on, like, not only that, it's just, it's so much more than even just the Tao. It's just like the composition of these bodies, the doshi or whatever the fuck, each level of these monsters or whatever, like, and then the Tensins, like, he's literally, going to fucking, like he's what you need. And nope, guess not.
Jigokuraku, man, holy shit. Well, you guys, that is going to do it for the very first episode of our new shonen manga review series inside of Patreon, inside of the special grade tier. Thank you all so much again for subscribing at this level. You are all looking to help Project Manga grow in a major way, and we cannot thank you enough for being at this level and supporting us to this degree. So hopefully,
special ass grade shaman.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. So hopefully, like this very first episode with just two of us showed you, like how worth it this tier is, obviously, along with all of the other perks from the previous tiers being included in that. And if there's any kind of, adjustments or any kind of things that you want to see from us inside of Patreon for being subscribed at this level, let us know and we will find ways to work that out in any way that makes sense, time and effort wise. You know what I mean? So just let us know what you want to see from us. Let us know any way that we can improve for you, because that is who you are, who we are doing this for. You know what I mean? So we're definitely have open ears, open minds. Holler at us anywhere on Discord, Twitter, however you want, in the comment sections. Let us know. But this was incredible. I'm so excited for the future of this series. Can't wait to have Nickums and Eagle back to actually talk about these stories as an entire team. But that is going to do it, you guys, and we are going to sign off tonight. We will catch you guys next week. I'm Noxy.
What up, Kiko? Peace, y'all.
We'll catch y'all next time.